You can make a ton of money working this strategy, but how do you find the guaranteed money? Where do you go? How much do you request as your fee? How do you get your inbox flooded with requests, getting people to hire you that'll write you one big swooping check or one big swipe with a credit card? Well, today I'm going to explain how you get all this done and possibly shift your focus on what you thought your business plan was going to be over into something that might make you even more successful, to make you even more money. Let's get to it. So you guys may have heard at some point during your life that word of mouth marketing is the best marketing that you can have. It's free. It's a whole bunch of things that has a whole lot of credibility to it because the person who's telling the other person about a business or your business, they probably trust them. In more cases than not, they trust that person and then they're going to trust their opinion. So when they tell them that, they believe it. And that plays a huge role into this guaranteed money that I spoke of, because that's a lot of the reason why people are going to hire you. They're going to see you somewhere. Their friends are going to tell them about you. So how do you make this guaranteed money that I keep mentioning? It's through contract work, or what's considered catering. Events, parties, think about like graduation parties, weddings, any sort of event that somebody's having. That's where you're going to get your contract work, that you're going to charge a fee. And I'm going to explain how you get to the point of knowing what number to charge for the event that you're going to work, because they're not all the same. But working through the contract work is the guaranteed money that you get paid, whether the event's a home run or the event's a complete dud. That has nothing to do with you. You're going to get paid regardless. Normally on these events, these parties, these weddings, these whatever the event may be, normally they're not an all-day thing. They're maybe a 4 to 5 hour event, or maybe even a 2-hour event, or anything like that, versus being on the street where you could be out there for 12 hours and still not make the amount of money you would make in that 4, because you're hired on that contract and you charge a fee before you got there. So let's dive into the process of getting something like this done, what you need to be thinking about, the questions that you need to be asking the event planner so that everyone can have a successful event. It's important that everyone has a successful event, because those people will then hire you back for other events that they throw on. Or maybe this is an annual event that they throw and they want you to come back, or they know people who have events and they're going to go and say, hey, we had this great food truck or trailer, this great operator come and help us at a party. You should take a look at them too. They were amazing to work with. Okay, so how do you get to these opportunities to be invited to a graduation party or a birthday party or a wedding or something like that? Well, majority of the time, people are going to see you out at other places. Like maybe you're on the street and they really liked your food, and then they knew that they were having an event, and they're going to ask you, do you do those kind of events? Maybe you were working a festival. Maybe you could be just anywhere. If people try your food and like it, and they're hosting some sort, or they know somebody, they're going to refer you because they want to have that experience for themselves again, and also for the people at their event. So they're going to come up to you and they're going to ask you, hey, do you do catering? And you should say yes. And you should, hopefully through a video like this, you've already got some sort of game plan together about how you're going to approach said event, and how you're going to talk to the event planner about their event. But there's a couple markers that you need to hit, and hit really hard, to understand what you need when it comes to working these kind of events. And the first thing is you need to have the numbers down of how many people are going to be there. Now, of course, you're not going to get an exact number, because nobody ever gets 100% of their invites to show. Sometimes people have more people there than they plan. Sometimes they have under. But within some sort of small window, I would say I've tried to hold my event planner, my event host, to within, say, 25 people. Like, for instance, let's say, like, I've literally had people say, anywhere between 75 to 300 people will be there. Well, that's not going to work, because if I buy food for 300 people and 75 people come, I'm going to lose on that deal. Or if I buy food for 75 people and 300 show up, I'm going to lose on that deal too, because I'm going to look bad, because I have no food to feed everybody. So you need to, vehemently as you can, get the host to get you a number within some tight window of how many people are going to be at their event. I mean, after all, it's their event. You need to know that, and you need to get that down. it's very, very, very important that you keep them within, I would say, anything within 0 to 25 people on the guesstimate. You're also going to get that number down and put it in your contract with the event planner, because you want their signature on there, you want your signature on there. Both parties were understood that this was the number that was going to be at the event. They can't hold you accountable for if double the amount of people they told you were going to be there and you didn't have enough food, because as you can see clearly, this is how many people you told me were going to be here. This is how many people I planned for. Once again, you can't be short either. So you need to have a strong understanding of how much food you can buy that will feed the amount of people that they told you. Your systems, your processes, how you serve your trays, however you serve your food, you need to understand, if I buy X amount, it'll feed X amount or Y amount, however you want to look at it. One other key important factor that comes down to the conversation side of getting this thing situated is, what are you going to charge the event planner to come to their event? So I've seen it two ways. I've seen people charge a flat, and I've seen people charge per head. Well, I shouldn't even say seen people, because I've done it, and I'll just speak from my experience. So in my experience, charging a flat fee, a flat amount, usually you end up losing on that, because things change, prices change, food costs change. They may come back and change the number of people coming either up or down, and may try to still hold you to, you said it was going to be a flat. You just don't need that back and forth. Even though they said that less people are coming and more, like, you just don't need that back and forth. I personally always tell people to charge per head. So let's say, for example, 50 people are coming to an event. Well, I would call that a smaller event. So I'm going to charge a little bit more, or a lot more per head, than I would if you said 1,000 people are going to be here. You can structure it where you have, let's say it was $15 per head. If 1,000 people are going to be there, you can go to the event planner and say, well, since this is a fairly large event, normally I charge $15 a head, but to help you in your budget, I'll go down to 12. You're still going to make a lot of money. The event planner feels like they got a deal. Their experience with you was starting off really well. They like it's just you probably could have did it for 12 anyway, but just to get some good mojo going here, you make them feel as if they're getting a deal, but you also know that you're making quite a bit of money as well. So, if you're at $1,000 a head for $12, that's 12 grand for you right there. If you stuck it at the 1,000 for $15 a head, that's 15,000. I mean, yes, the $3,000 is a lot of money, but it's just up to you and your business and how you want to approach it. Now, if the event is a smaller event for, say, 50 people or so, or 100 people, I might go up to like $18 a head, so I can still and have all my costs covered and still make some money. You're going to have, all events aren't the same. All sizes of events aren't the same. So you're going to have some smaller events. You're going to have more smaller events than you will large events. So you're going to charge a little bit more for the smaller events to make up for the fact that it's not a large event and you can make a lot of money at it somewhere else. So you look at that this is based on how you want to run your operation. You can take that and do what you want with that, but that's just the way that I did it. And when you explain it to people, they understand. Yes, it's a smaller event. I want you to come. I want everybody to have a good time. You can still even cut a deal there. You say, normally, smaller event like this, I would do $20 a head, but for you, I'll do 17, so everybody's, that's up to you though. The next thing that you're going to want to do is, once you figure out the number, whether you decide to go flat or per head, once you figure out what that's going to be and you both agree to it, well, another great part of this contract / catering work is you get to charge a deposit. Everybody's different on their deposit number. I always stuck between 25 and 50%. The day of, and how you phrase it is, you say, okay, Mrs. Jones, now that we've got this figured out, we got that figured out for this price, this many people. This is what you say. In order to lock in your date, I just need a deposit of whatever that 25 to 50% is of that final number that you came to. The key is to say, in order to lock you in on this date, because I'm sure you'll have other things going on. And if it's a summer month, those summer months there's only a certain amount of summer months, and depending on where you live, and those dates are precious. So in order to lock you in, I need to get a 25 to 50% deposit, and then we're good to go. I'll show up the day of, depending on how you want to. Some people wait until the end of the event to get the final payment. Some people get the final payment at the beginning of the event, that's up to you. I tend to wait to the end. Some events that I was a little shaky on, I might have got it beforehand, but normally I always waited at the end of the event. We cashed out, everybody was happy, everybody got fed, they were having fun. So, that's when you get the tip and all that other stuff. Everybody had a good time. If you did your job well, which is important, you planned well, which is important, you get that tip at the end on top of the other 50% that you were owed. Everybody leaves happy. Next thing you know, they're telling people about you, and you got requests coming in and everything. So in the description below, I will link a sample contract for you that you can use to get you, because you may be saying to yourself, I can do all that, but where do I get the contract to give to the event planner to sign so we can get going? You don't necessarily have to hire a lawyer and draw all this stuff up, or go get something off of, some contract that might not be binding on the internet. I'll put one down here for you that I use. It's editable. You can get in there. You can switch out what you need to switch out and do the whole thing. And that'll help you out a lot. The keys here are, number one, understanding your systems and how much you need to serve, how much that's going to cost. Number two is, like I said, getting down that head count. It's very important, that head count, getting down your pricing per head or flat, whichever one you want to go, getting your pricing in, and then getting it all on paper and getting that deposit. If you do your job well and you're smooth and everything goes smoothly, trust me, these people are going to go talking. And like I said at the beginning of the video, that word of mouth marketing, they're going to talk and they're going to tell their friends about their event. Everybody can't wait to go and tell everybody about the event that they put on that was so great. And then trust me, they're going to tell, because it's like a vanity thing. They're going to tell people about the food truck we had that came there, or the food trailer. It's like not everybody has those. So they're going to talk, and your name's going to be spread around. Now, hopefully it's on the good side. It can be the same thing on the bad side if you don't do a good job. But the goal here is to get your name out there, get people talking about you, and next thing you know, your inbox will be flooded with people requesting you for their party here. And these things come in, and you could be booking parties out a year in advance. Like, I've had to tell people I don't book out that far because there's just too many variables. Contact me 6 to 8 months before and we could talk about it, but I can't schedule a party 3 years in advance. It's just not smart. There's just too many variables, too many things that go on, But you can have that happen where people are asking you to come to their event that's so far out, but they want you there and they'll pay you. So you just have to get these things down, and the more you do, the better you'll be. And you can make a lot of money this way, a lot of money with the contract work and the catering. You might not even have to touch the street, only if you want to. There's so much catering money that could be out there for you. Businesses can bring you in. These just don't have to be parties and events. Businesses can hire you to come and pull up at their place of business and just feed their staff. You can, it's wide open, and the business will pay for it for you to feed their staff. I've done all this. I've seen all this. So this is a very important strategic play that you can use that can grow your business tremendously. It could be the difference between success in a year or success in 5 years if you're doing something else. So take this and use this, because it's a great way to make money. See you guys on the next one.